Welcome to the Token CEO podcast. I met you at Fastlane and was pretty much obsessed. I think you are this like fierce, tight, little fierce, crazy package. And I love your message about being a boss. I love who you are in the WWE. I think that you are such an inspiration, and you are also not taking anybody's bullshit, which is just something I appreciate. So for the people who listen to this podcast, give them the Sasha Banks story or the Mercedes story. Like, how'd you get, like, the Cliff Notes version? I know it's a big story, but how'd you get here?
Oh, well, the Cliff Notes are like in every interview.
So let's go the real one.
So I've loved wrestling since I was 10 years old. There was nothing on my television when I was living in Iowa at the time. And I was just clicking through channels and I was just like, oh, there's nothing on TV. And next thing you know, WWE is just bam, right in my face. And I'm like, whoa, this is different. What is this? Next thing you know, my mom opens up my door and goes, what are you watching? This is terrible. Turn this off.
You were supposed to be at school. You were like homeschooling, if I know.
Well, at 10 years old, I was actually in elementary school. I was at a regular school at this time. I didn't start going to homeschool at 13. But my mom was yelling at me to turn it off. Next thing you know, I just snuck into my brother's room, turned it on again, and I just fell in love. And I knew at that very moment that I wanted to be a WWE superstar. So again, when I was like 12, 13, I emailed so many professional wrestling schools all over the world. And everybody replied back saying, you are not old enough. You're not 16, you're not 18, you have to wait. And at that time, I was so poor, I couldn't even afford to go travel anywhere to go to wrestling school. So when I turned 18, I finally found a pro wrestling school in Boston, where we ended up moving to, and trained there. 2 years later, I got signed to WWE. And my list of accomplishments it's too long.
It's very long. You have all, it is. And Sasha, tell me this. So when you were watching wrestling when you were 10, were you watching men? Like, was it the men who inspired you? There weren't that many women wrestling then.
There were women, but the first guy I laid eyes on was Eddie Guerrero. So instantly I just became hooked. Already we are overpopulated with men in the WWE and any, sports industry, but the women just only had a small part. They only got a short amount of time. They were either doing bikini matches or ballets, or their professional wrestling matches that were the counterparts to the men were only 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. So I looked at that as like, I don't want to do that because I don't see myself in them. I saw myself in Eddie Guerrero. So I always wanted
the
to
headliner.
be the female version and be the top star. I wanted to be the very best. And I remember when I was 10, I had a notebook and I wrote down all my dreams and goals of being number one in the WWE. And now here I am.
You are
29, 19 years, doing everything that I've ever wrote down in that list of journals, have accomplished so much inside and outside of the WWE. And it's just been such a beautiful journey that I'm just like, what's next for my future? Because there's a big galaxy out there. I can go to Mars probably next, and probably start WWE over there. Who knows?
I love it. You can wrestle your way anywhere. What surprised you once you got into it? Like, we have a lot of people who listen to this podcast, a lot of women who listen to it, who are like, I want to be a CEO. I want to be this. I want to be that. And I think sometimes you're clearly a person and a woman who is extremely driven. I think for anyone who hasn't met you in person, like, you truly exude an energy of determination and ferocity that I think is really inspiring. Was there anything that surprised you once you got into school or started on the circuit? And my second question is, what do you think the traits that you developed there? Which traits helped you the most?
Wow, that is hard. I mean, everything surprised me. I really thought when you got into WWE or in wrestling in general, they were just going to tell you what you needed to do. That I was going to get this whole WWE makeover and, be chosen to be whatever they wanted me to be. And then I finally realized, like, no, that's up to me. And that's not just within WWE or any company, that's in life. It's always up to you to get you where you need to be. Remember, it's up to you. Nobody can give you handouts. Nobody can give you, these little things. I mean, they can, but it's up to you to go get it for yourself. So I really learned from the very beginning that it was up to me for my destiny to make it to my dreams. And when I started out in the independent circuit, being so shy and nervous and being this girl before who did not, I was homeschooled when I was 13. I didn't even know how to talk to people. So I was just like, very taken advantage of. And I was like, I can't let that happen. You have to be the best, because if I need to make it somewhere, I can't let other people take controls of my dream. So I remember one day at my wrestling school I was training at, the WWE was in town. And the guy who owned our wrestling school was like, I'm going to pick and choose who gets to go to the WWE and be an extra. I asked him, hey, can I be an extra? I think I'm ready. He goes, no, you're not ready. It's not going to be you. But I saw who he chose, and I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. Not only do I work harder than all these guys, and I was the only girl at that school, I'm better than all these guys. So why do I need to wait? So I went to Google and I looked up an email. I'm like, who is email? Sent him an email. I said, hey, I heard WWE's in town. I would really love to be an extra. Next thing you know, I got a response right away and said, you're booked.
And what'd you say to the guy?
He was just like dumbfounded. He was like, how did you get that email? How did they call you? Why'd you go behind my back? And it's like, why not? It's my dream. So I have to go get it. And I think that's the most important thing that I really learned, is that it's really up to my hands to get myself wherever I wanted to be in the WWE and in wrestling in general.
And you used to wrestle under, if I have this right, you used to wrestle under Mercedes. You used to wrestle under one name. Now you wrestle under Sasha Banks, and you've created this whole world about being a boss. Like, tell me about, do you have to get into character? How do you think about your character versus who you are? Because it's very obvious that you and your character are extremely aligned.
Yes. When I first started, I did have to get into my character in a way, because I'm like, who is this new person with all this confidence? And I was like, Mercedes, it's actually you that you've been hiding deep down inside forever. It's like everything that I've ever wanted to be. And I finally got to do it, out in front of an audience, and be this larger than life character. And it's funny that people call it characters when it's really just,
it's just a persona, actually. Yeah, no, I agree. I was saying, I'm like, it's not a character. It's just an amplified persona.
It is. And it's people always say it's us turned up all the way. It's who I wanted to be since I was 10 years old. Strong, confident, didn't let anybody take advantage of me, never let anybody tell me no. That's what a legit boss is. When I walk into the room, I make people they go like this, left and right, they turn, what? Yes, what do you need? That's exactly what I wanted to be since I was 10. So that's who I am now. And I don't need a character to go into it, because it's just all natural. It's just, when you believe in yourself, when you believe in your truths and it's okay, everything just kind of comes natural.
And Sasha, what would your advice be? Like, you just exude this confidence. How would you give someone else who's 10 years old or 20 years old and it's like, I want to be a legit boss? What would you tell them that could help them get there?
I would say practice with anything in life. I've always had to practice. You have to do things over and over and over and over again until you get it and you feel comfortable and confident. And you're never going to learn until you try. You can't be a legit boss unless you pick yourself up and walk yourself through that door. And if they throw that door in your face, you open it right back up. It's called practice. It's called keep on doing it. It's called never giving up. And that's how you become a legit boss.
I love that. Okay, so Sasha, tell me about the athleticism. So one of the things, just for anybody listening to this, when I met Sasha, first of all, you have the most gorgeous biceps I have ever seen. Like your arms are, if I could have popped both arms out of your sockets, put them on my body, I would have done it like right then and there. You have the most gorgeous arms. And the other thing that I love, which is I read that your husband makes your costumes, because the way your costumes accentuate your bicep, you should give him a massive compliment. Like, I think your costumes are 10 out of 10. So talk to me a little bit about the athleticism, because that was one of the things that I was most struck by at Fastlane, is just what phenomenal stallions you all are. Like, the athleticism is just incredible. And I think what's so interesting to me is you had this dream of being in wrestling. You've clearly transformed your body to be able to go through these feats. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, the athleticism really was like helped me fall in love with WWE. When it comes to WWE, it's athleticism, it's theater, it's everything that you like want to be, a superhero and all. But it's hard. People don't understand how hard it is. And not only for a woman, I'm only 125 pounds and I am slamming my body on a mat every single night.
God knows what
slams
else.
Off the top rope. I'm doing double knees off the top rope. I am, flipping people over my back. So we are larger than life athletes as well. We are better than basketball players. We are better than football players. We are better than soccer players because we go. And I really did have to change my body so I could take on all these impacts that I have to deal with every single day. When I first started in wrestling, I was only 99 pounds. So imagine that on my back and hitting those ropes, like, oh. So I really had to put on a lot of muscle mass and, really take care of my eating habits and fill my body with a lot of good proteins and nutrients so I can, make sure that I don't get hurt when I'm in the ring as well. And that's why training and practicing comes hand in hand, and you need to go to the WWE Performance Center and work on your craft, because one wrong move can end a career.
Yeah.
And one wrong move can hurt somebody, but we are all trained professionals, and it's a beautiful art that's just like it's like a little secret to it.
Yeah, it is a beautiful art. I also think it is a very tough art. Like, I don't think that people, like, those ropes hurt. I mean, they're hard, thick ropes.
They're legit ropes,
right,
that we're bouncing backs off of to springboard to hopefully either clothesline somebody or use a springboard and drop kick somebody. Those are legit ropes, and people can walk across them like the Undertaker and come off of a double axe handle. That whole square circle, we make the most of that.
And when you talk about practicing, like, how much time do you spend on your physicality? Like, how much time do you spend physically working out and practicing?
So I work out probably 5 days out of the week. I do a strenuous of strength and conditioning, of heavy lifting for about an hour and a half. And when it comes to in the ring, I spent about 10 years training already. So here and there, I will go to a wrestling ring, but I'm pretty, well known in my craft.
Doing.
I know what I'm doing. Before the show, we will find out, who are wrestling, and we'll just kind of sit there and talk. If there's something that I don't know how to do or never taken before, I'll always walk through it with my opponent beforehand. But there's some times as well where we won't even know who we're wrestling, and things can change on the fly. So it's just, you got to know how to protect yourself and how to take these bumps safely.
And how do you think about the theater of it all? Because it is so larger than life. Like, how much do you play a role in the narrative in the ring? Like, the thing that always strikes me about wrestling is there's actually not that much talking, but there's so much emotion, and there's such a story being told. So as a boss, I would imagine you're like, this is how we're going to fucking do this. But how does that come to life?
It does. The only thing that I can say I can control is what I do in the ring. I can't control the audience. I can't control the script that gets handed to me, but I can change it up when we're live.
Is this thing on?
I'm like, is this on?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'll call the audible. Yeah.
It comes with knowing your character and feeding off the audience. I know this year we've been kind of audience-less, not having our audience there, there in person. But just feeling off the crowd and feeling the energy is what makes me just, I think, different from everybody else.
Yep.
We get our scripts handed to us, but I think when you know your character and you know what your character would say, if you need to change anything, that's just something that I go, all right, I got it. Thank you. Just see it out there.
Yeah, that's right. And how critical are you? Like, one of the things I loved about Vince McMahon is, like, one, he's still so involved, and two, he's so critical in in a way where you just see how invested he is in the story you all are creating. Like, how critical are you? You seem like a critical person.
I am my worst critic. I have actually a hard time even watching myself back. I remember when I first started, after every single wrestling match, I would come back crying because I didn't think I was good enough, or I didn't think the match was good enough. Little do I know, then I come back, people are like, that was the greatest match ever. We always are our hardest critics because it's like, it's what I want to bring to the table. If I didn't feel like the crowd just wasn't exploding, then I feel like, but then I go back and I watch and I go, whoa, maybe your ears, you need to clean them out or something, because the crowd is electric for you. You are always match the night. You always kill it. So I think just following your heart and going out there and just giving all. I've always kind of been a do or die person.
Mm-hmm.
Always wanted to be number one, and always, changing the perception of what it was to be a woman here. You always hear the guys, steal the show and main eventing. And, when I came here, I wanted to do the exact same thing. So, there's no different, female or male comparison anymore. Just like, you're the best and that's it.
Yeah, I like that. I think that, so let's talk about being a woman. Like, you and Bianca are electric. You two are my favorite. I was like all over the voting on Twitter, which I don't think I should be saying that I was doing, but whatever. They're not going to love that, but I was. But tell me about, I do actually think the women's matches have been one of the most electric things that the WWE has developed. And that's because of people like you and Charlotte and, the whole crew. How do you think about the response? Like, how do you think about your gender in what you do? Do you think about it?
I try not to think about it anymore. But the thing is, we are female. We are. And there's a huge difference, and especially in WWE. There's only a handful of us compared to men. We only get a short amount of segments compared to the men. So I have to look at myself as the female leader and the boss of the locker room, that I always have to stand out and work even 3 times as harder just to get noticed for that. Not only the audience, WWE knows that I'm the top competitor too, that I'm number one. And I'm more than just a female. I'm a WWE superstar. I'm the face of the company. Whenever they need me, I want to be the one chosen, whether my gender is male or female or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I love that. I feel the same way. Like, there's not a lot of women who sit in my seat either. I hope there become more women. I don't think about it every day, but I do think you embody this, is that, when you go to the WWE, you see these men who are just gargantuan, right? Like, they're just enormous in size. And then you see you, and you have such an art and a finesse, but that same strength is there. And I think that what you've done really well is, and I love the boss narrative, is that you found a way to be captivating in the ring. One part is your beauty. One part is your attitude. One part is the way you fly around the ring. One part is those biceps and the, crushing it off the rope. So I think that what you've done very well is you've used your strengths and your point of differentiation, which in part comes from being a woman. In part, it just comes from being you. And you've used that to propel yourself to the top. And I think that's what people like to follow.
Aw, thank you so much. I think you said that very well. And it's hard because I'm so used to seeing our guys, but these guys are huge.
I mean, they're enormous.
They're enormous. When I'm out in public with them, all eyes are always on them. They're always like, people are looking up. But I feel like in my heart,
you're that big.
Like, as they look, yeah, I show it within my insides and my heart, because I have to be. When I'm standing next to Braun Strowman, people are staring at him, and then they go, wow, who's that hot chick with the blue hair and the good energy? I'm like,
that's me. That's right. You're like up to his kneecap.
Exactly.
And it's so funny, too, because I think they also, when you get them in real life, they're often so soft-spoken. Like, Roman is so soft-spoken. Like, I was like, do you need a hug? Like, and I think he has such a different energy in the ring than you do. He has a much calmer energy. And I think that you seem so big. You're like exuding this light, and you seem as big as Roman or as Braun or as in Triple H or anybody. And I think that that's such a great thing to show people.
Thank you. I think so too. We have to, especially as women, be larger and bigger than life, because we got to take over. And women have always been taking over the world, but we just need to be treated that way.
I love that. All right, tell me about the match with Bianca. Talk to me about WrestleMania this weekend.
Well, I'm trying to not be in my feels because I've been crying all morning. I've been having like an anxiety attack. It's Monday and WrestleMania is on Saturday, and here I go again.
You got a lot to do.
I have a lot to do. I'm excited.
You got this.
And I just can't stop being so thankful, because I'm just like, I can't believe this 10-year-old girl is about to live her dream and, main event at WrestleMania. I really believe that. And to see someone like Bianca Belair, who's brand new, who's just come into the game and won the Royal Rumble, and she's so athletic. She is so incredible. She is the future of the WWE. And still am I, because I'm younger. People don't forget. It's
How much younger are you?
I'm 2 years younger.
Oh, it's a baby.
Okay, so I am the present, the future, the now of the WWE, but she is the future as well, but she still has a lot to learn. That's why I'm the legit boss. But at WrestleMania on April 10th, we will be main eventing, and this is another first time ever for me. This is my first ever singles match on a WrestleMania card, which has been my dream, but this is the first time ever that 2 African American women will be headlining at WrestleMania. So this is crazy because it's bigger than me. And I think that's what the beautiful thing is. Everything that I've done in the WWE, not only has it been for me, but it's been bigger than me, because of the impact that it has made on so many amazing people all over the world of every color and race, to chase their dreams. So I'm just like over the moon.
You are the exact woman for the job.
Thank you.
Congratulations. You deserve this.
Thank you. I'm really just like letting it all sink in today. Yeah. And I've been calling my friend Pam or Bailey all morning. I'm just like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. I'm freaking out. But I'm so thankful and I can't wait, and I'm so ready.
And you had your first, what was your first with Bailey? You and Bailey.
Yeah, we were the first ever match to win, match of the year, or female match to win a match of the year. And we are the first ever women's match to headline a takeover.
And now here you go do it again.
I know. I can't believe it.
It's awesome. Okay, so you're going to cry until like what, Tuesday? You're going to cry like for another, like how are we doing this? Are we going to cry for another day and then we're going to be like game face on, or?
That's what I'm trying to tell myself in my head, because I keep imagining WrestleMania. I keep trying to see the match in my head. I keep trying to hear the fans in my head, because again, not only is this like everything for me, but this is the first time in a whole year that the fans are back.
You're going to have humans there.
Yeah, I'm overwhelmed with just hearing real human energy and interaction again. So I think I'm not going to stop crying until it's over.
Sasha, all right, do you know what you're going to wear?
I do. I mean, I haven't seen it yet. Sarah is always, doing it to the last minute to the T, but we have planned something very amazing. I got 2 jackets. I don't know which one I'm going to wear.
Okay.
I'm just kind of shook and booked, and I'm still kind of seeing like, what am I going to have for my entrance? Do we have anything cool, amazing, spectacular? But it's WWE, and even I don't know what's going to happen. So I'm just waiting for Saturday to get here, so I can just see how my emotions are going to be. But I'm just here to steal the show and to have the greatest WrestleMania match ever.
I can't wait. I am rooting for you. I'm so proud of you. I'm excited for you. I'll be there. So I can't wait to see you in person. And you are doing I'm just so happy for 10-year-old you.
Thank you.
You're inspiring so many other people, and not just people who are fans of wrestling, but women everywhere. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you Saturday.
Yes, we'll see you Saturday.
All right, bye, Sasha.
Bye.